Hey everyone, good to see you back again. Bitcoin Maxi Mike, 2 for 2. Thank you to everybody for coming. Let's talk about this. A couple of unique things we've never seen before. I'm going to share with you today. We're going to talk about some government traders, look at some stocks we've never looked at before, break down some tailwinds behind some historic moves, look at a whole bunch of crypto and data, and as usual, I have to warn you, crypto and politics are intertwined, but we have a solution. We have it fixed. So let's go. Let me see. Dominance. Crypto dominance. I don't even know. I think it's at 53%. Bitcoin dominance. Market cap still around that 2.12 trillion. Fear and greed down to 27. We'll look at that chart as well and jump in. And none of this, of course, is financial advice. Just a guy on the internet sharing data. And we haven't seen one of these in a while. Very happy. The team is back from the Watch Goose. I've been watching IA since the beginning. And I became a Patreon member about 6 months ago. Best content on the net. So happy to hear. Thank you for being part of the family, the Watch Goose. Now we'll start with the ugly news. I should nearly even discontinue this unlock stuff because it's like almost the same names every single week. Unlocking, dumping, dumping, dumping. And as we discussed on DCA yesterday, they're not a good thing, at least I don't believe. But here, some of the names that are underlined in red, you know, if something is not underlined in red, it means the unlock is tiny. For example, Fort is 0.01 and Render is 0.1. So I don't mention those. I just talk about the big unlocks. So I hope people are clear on that. Thank you, HS1. IO is big, another big unlock. IMX is there every week. Aptos is there every week. ENA is there every week. Optimism is there every week. Starknet is there every week. Cyber is there every week. Arbitrum, Axie Infinity, Ape, money grabs, NIM, Neon. It's just ridiculous. So if you're wondering why you're not making money on these things, it's because of the unlocks. So watch that carefully. Now let's talk about the sectors. Everything is down over the last month. Everything. And the best performing sector, or I should say least worst, is centralized exchanges. So woohoo. And what's interesting here as well, Bitcoin and Ethereum are down almost the exact same amount over the last month. Down 17.5% for Bitcoin, down 17.3% for Ethereum, which I think is kind of stunning considering over the last month, we got news that the Ethereum ETF was approved and nobody cares. We'll follow the money in a minute and we'll show you why. What else we got? Bad news. That was the ugly news. I like it when ugly news is very little. Bad news. Fear and greed. Still scared. Everybody's still very nervous. And I don't know. I like when people are nervous, I like that time to buy. So who knows? Let's look at this miner block reward. I did cover this briefly this morning, but miners were down hard today with this exception of CleanSpark was flat. But some of the heart runners were hit hard, down 12%. Iris Energy, BitDeer, names like that. But I think it's because of this. Because the profitability analysis for the miner block reward is at a 16-month low, which will definitely hurt all miners. Remember, mining is a cutthroat business. Be careful out there, ladies and gentlemen. Also, let's break down a couple of Nancy Pelosi trades. This caused a bit of consternation over the last 24 hours. And by the way, I think even though she discloses them, I think her husband, Puell Pukes, is the guy that does the trades. I could be wrong on that. He used to anyway. But ever since he got a hammer to the head, I hope he's okay from that night. His timing has been a little bit off. Let me break down what I mean by that. First of all, they sold $500,000 worth of Tesla. And the price point, from what I understand, was about 170. Tesla hit a 255 today. So that was only a couple of weeks ago. We'll break it down. So selling that was not good, but I understand why Elon Musk is not a good look for people in the Democratic Party. They tend not to be very fond of him for whatever reason I don't understand. But she did buy a big bag of AVGO, which is Broadcom, $5 million worth. And I don't think, when you look at the $500,000 sale that she made at 170, that sometimes scares people. But also at the same time, Cathie Wood, who is mega bullish on Tesla. Sold a bit too because they can't go above 10% allocation of their funds. So when the price skyrockets, they have to trim back their position. So Nancy, you got to fix that 10% cap. Anyway, $5 million of Broadcom. I get a lot of questions. Should we buy Broadcom? Let's check out the chart. First of all, this is AVGO on the ATR. And Nancy actually bought pretty close to the buy signal on this model. So maybe Paul is using the ATR model. I'm not sure. But they're a little bit in the money already in a very short window of time. Now, when I look at this chart, I do like AI and disruption and crypto and stuff. But I like value disruption. I don't like buying things after they've already gone up 5x. That's a little scary for me. So let's look at the fundamentals of AVGO Broadcom, as I know it from back in the day, and it's been around for 25 years or more. According to Guru Focus, it is significantly overvalued. So when people ask me, would you buy AVGO? No, I wouldn't. So hope that helps. I think, again, they would have made a lot more money if they held on to their Tesla position. But that's separate. Let's get into the good news. Lots of good news here today. First of all, it's been a week, over the last week, since last Tuesday, everything divided by the Bitcoin price. ETH has beaten Bitcoin by 2.44%. Solana's beaten by about 6%. Cardano lost. So did Binance. So did Polkadot. So did ICP. So did Ethereum Classic. Optimism, again, hasn't been too good out there. Good to see you, Zeno. So that is where we are. When we look in dollar terms, again, despite all that happened over the last week, Bitcoin is still up 2.77% from where we were last Tuesday. Not too bad. And Solana is up a good bit. I can't read that exact number, but 5%, I think, for the week. ETH, 2%, etc., etc. So all in all, the market is not that bad, considering the huge dumpage by Germany and the fear from Mt. Gox, etc., etc. Now, let's talk about one of these political things, because this I found very interesting, and I like this from a strategic perspective. The easy way to talk about this is Bitcoin has been added to the official Republican 2024 platform after today's vote. What they do is put together a platform of things they want to be pro for the election. And in this 16-page document, they said Republicans will end Democrats' unlawful and un-American crypto crackdown and oppose the creation of a central bank digital currency. We will defend the right to mine Bitcoin and ensure every American has the right to self-custody their digital assets and transact free from government surveillance and control. Now, I know that politics can be very divisive, but I have a solution. It's coming in a couple of slides. But I thought that was super strategic. And now they have almost like a checkmate move against the Democratic Party, because there are 55 million Americans that have crypto. Now, there's some that have crypto but would rather lose their crypto than vote the other way. But then Nick Carter did say this, and it's funny because the wording of what was in this is very similar to what Nick Carter said yesterday. End the crypto crackdown. No CBDC. Right to mine. Right to self-custody. Right to transact freely. So that is good. Good. And that's important to him. And it's important to a lot of people for their financial freedom. Now, Balchunas did chime in as well. He believes it looks like the Solana ETFs are going to have a final deadline of mid-March 2025, but between now and then, the most important date is November. If Biden wins, these are likely DOA, which means dead on arrival. If Trump wins, anything is possible. So as far as Eric Balchunas is concerned, which party is in power after the elections in November will have a big impact on crypto. That's why we talk about it, because we care. Okay, if crypto is going to be banned by a party, then we might as well get out of crypto and invest in other things, just to be safe. That's why we talk about it. But my sense on this is this all ETF will come. It was recently categorized as a commodity yesterday in another court of law, which is big news. I forgot to post that here. And I do believe if Larry Fink from BlackRock needs a blockchain and needs an ETF to tokenize the world, real world assets, he'll pick up the phone, call the SEC, and make it happen. That's the power of BlackRock. Okay, so either way, I think a Sol ETF is coming, no matter which way the governments go, left or right. And I think Pomp said it very well. Hey, Kenny, thank you for coming. Bitcoin must be embraced by both political parties. And as I've always said, to be perfectly clear, embrace or die. Being against crypto will be a bad luck on you. So I think maybe, hopefully, the Democratic Party will wake up and stop this choke point 2.0 stuff and embrace crypto. It'd be great for all of us. Then we get other things. Now, what's also special about the last week, we had a big inflow of money into digital asset flows, about $441 million. And we had nearly that amount yesterday too. And that is despite the news, again, of Mt. Gox in Germany, etc. But of this nearly $500 million, Bitcoin saw about 398 million come in. But there was other inflows too, which is one of the firsts we'll ever see. Well, the other first is, it's the first show I'm actually drinking kombucha on. So brought to you by Booch. But this I found fascinating. I've never seen ever, and I've been doing this for years, a day when everything was black. Every asset, hey, Clint up in Canada, thank you for coming. Every single asset was black. No red, no outflow. Super interesting. And breaking this down, most notable was Solana. It had 16 million in last week, bringing year-to-date flows to 57 million. But that's a big pump for just 1 week. Remember, it's a small asset class compared to Ethereum. Ethereum is down still 15 million for the year. They had a week-to-date inflow of 10.2 million, but still negative. And what else we got there? Litecoin had a little bit. Short Bitcoin had a little bit come in. XRP, Cardano had 100,000 come in, and Polkadot 200,000. I don't know what people are doing, putting money in those things, but that's their prerogative, so we don't care. Let's look at some charts. First of all, I did share this briefly this morning, but it's so important to show you where we are with Bitcoin right now. And this opportunity only comes once within a cycle. When a chart is super important, in case somebody was distracted for 10 seconds, they would have missed it. Those red dots, or when the Puell multiple pukes, that means it falls to a low level, and it rarely happens in a bull run. We are in a bull run. This, per Dancoin Investor, is a buying opportunity because after this red ring happens, we go up. We are going up. We may have to wait till September or October, but we're going up. And the downside from here is extremely limited based on this multiple. Also, a quick check-in on post-halving. We are still below the floor that we had. We are coming up a couple of days away from being 90 days after the halving. Then things settle. The miners have capitulated. The miners have stopped selling. The miners are turning down the hash rate, trying to survive. And we are a long way from all-time high, but we will get back there. Pretty sure of that. But right now, this is pretty much when you see the price below the floor, it's a pretty good deal. And one other one regarding Bitcoin is VPLI from the Power Law team shows it is undervalued and 3.57 negative. Normally, a -10 is bear market. So we are also another indicator. That's a good time. Let's talk about Bitcoin. It's still season 24. It was a week ago. It still is now, which means the altcoins are in control. This is a view. You can see Toncoin that did very well over the last 90 days. And what's interesting, too, for me about this is you have a lot of names that are hovering around the middle, like Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum. They're all exactly almost at the same level down over the last 90 days. And we have some names down a lot over the 90 days. The Tau, the Aptos, the WIF, the Filecoin, the Arbitrum, the ICP, SUI, Stacks, Fetch. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out why they're down. It's all explained in the compendium. So anyway, no surprise there. Let's talk about real world assets. I hinted at this before. You know, if Larry Fink wants a scalable platform to do real world assets and tokenization of the world and stock markets, they will need a platform. But what is interesting about this chart from Dune, shout out to Sanjay as well for sharing, the BlackRock Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund reached $500 million market cap. So that's good. But the problem is, all transactions on chain for RWA peaked in April 2024. Since then, we've been downhill. So actually March 2024 when it peaked. And right now it's kind of withering away, but that also Could be because it's the summer doldrums. June, July, August tend to suck. September tends to be volatile. It can swing violently either way. And then October, off to the moon. So we'll see if we get things happening a little earlier, because people are getting smarter and they're beginning to front run stuff more. So who knows? September could actually be a great month. We'll see. And the ETFs did rage back. Massive buys yesterday. Nearly 6,000 Bitcoin. BlackRock came to life, bought 3,320 Bitcoin alone. Fidelity, nearly 1,100 Bitcoin. And even Grayscale grabbed a couple too. So big day out there for the ETFs. Now, a little bit of history to show you how fast things go. And I know Solana went to $8, but it's hard to believe that exactly a year ago today, shout out to Chewy on the channel, in the community. On this day, the 9th of July, 2023, Solana was $21. Today, it's $142.54. That means we have gone up 728%. So what a difference a year makes. And that's why when things are very low and it's still a good asset, you buy hard. This is why, going back to the AVGO chart, just as a reminder, I don't like to buy things like this that have already gone up 5x in a short window of time, because then it's very unlikely they're going to do another 5x. And that's where we are right now. So happy 1 year anniversary to Solana, going up 730%. A little bit more on Solana too, despite the crazy amount of new features and releases to the chain. SWQOS, SIMD, whatever, all the stuff for scalability, Sol Layer, Fuse Wallet, Coliseum, Delegation Program, ZK Compression, Blinks, rumors of the ETF. The price has gone down. Okay. And again, fees are going up, price has gone down, and that's even with compression. Fees are still going down. So there's tons of activity, on average way north of 1.5 million daily active users. But this is from Milk Road, and they said something, the analogy I think was like, you've got the equivalent to a bottle of Coca-Cola that's been shaken for months on end. When the cap comes off, that's when the explosion of that sugary beverage will spray everywhere and make a mess. So that explosion, according to Milk Road, who are talking about Coca-Cola, will go to the moon. So it's what I call coiling up. It's a very clear coiling up signal. The market is down because of headwinds. Once, of course, Bitcoin rebounds, this puppy will too in a big way. And then it'll have its own season. Then we'll see alt season at 76 instead of 24, and things will be nuts. And another crazy convergence of Web 2 plus Web 3, PayPal stablecoin surges a huge amount after it partnered with PayPal's PYUSD, which is their stablecoin. I can't remember the exact numbers, but the market cap went up from 180 million to 533 million as we speak, per data from Artemis. And that is big. And next step will be north of $1 billion. Remember, this is just a week. Okay, to go from 180 million to 535 million in a week, a lot more to come. And I love seeing the fact that TradFi, Web2 stuff companies are getting involved in stablecoins as well. And they're doing it on Solana. So expect big things from this. Raydium as well smokes the world on volume. And Orca is number 4. They're both Sol-based. So expect... Actually, Phoenix is there too. Well, if you add in the top 3 of the top 6, there is a lot of domination out there as well. Let's talk about some stocks for a minute. I get lots of questions regarding Tesla. Tesla's been very exciting, so we will talk about that. But this is the stock market over the last 7 days. Tesla, big week, up nearly 30%. Google 3%, 5% for Apple. Nvidia 5%. Nvidia turned around. It's now over $130. AVGO is up there as well, 5% up for the week. Meta, 5%. So it's been a good week for tech, unless you're in Microsoft, which has been flat, 0.6. Amazon, a little bit flat too. But that turnaround for Tesla has caused a lot of consternation. By the way, every video is turned into a Substack. You can listen to it while you're at the gym or whatever, hiking in the woods, and you get all the slides too if you want to read them. Some people prefer to read because I go very fast and there's a lot of content. So big thank you to the team working behind the scenes every single day getting that done. But let's talk about Tesla tailwinds. There is an incredible amount of catalysts, literally a couple of weeks away, a couple of months away, and I'm going to rattle off the top 12. And there's probably more, but just talk about these ones briefly. First of all, earnings 723. Will they surprise? That's 2 weeks from now. We know the Megapack result was mind-blowing. How much will they recognize? We shall see. Also, the Robotaxi reveal on August 8th. That is now 29 days away. That's going to be a very exciting day. Maybe I'll be doing a live stream with the Cyberbulls and expect me to be on the Cyberbulls a lot more frequently now. Permanent edition, I'll be on with them on Thursday again this week. Also, Tesla Model 2 reveal. What'll it look like? It did promise something by the end of the year, early next. That's the scaled down, cheaper version, hopefully close to a $25,000 price point. By the way, if the car is even $32,000 and gets a US tax credit, that takes it to $25,000. Tesla Model Y refresh, making the best car on Earth even better, is coming. Optimus production. They now have 12 Optimus working in the Gigafactory. 12 robots already doing productive work. And there'll be about 2,000 next year. This is happening. This is real. And Wall Street analysts do not know about it or give it any valuation. And it's a game changer. There is more dexterity in the Optimus hand than there is in this hand of mine because my left thumb doesn't work. So just it's quite shocking to even think about. Cybertruck production, #1 electric truck already. And they're still ramping. They're still ironing out bugs. It's only been literally not more than a few weeks. Elon's Tesla Master Plan Part 4. Each one of his master plans is just poetic, and I'm excited for that. Energy results and energy expansion in Shanghai. And we'll find more about the true scale of Lathrop in California. Tesla is now on China's government buy list. So government officials in China can now buy Teslas. They were banned before. Now they can. And Tesla also has rights to test FSD on the Chinese roads. Speaking of FSD, 14.2, 14.3 actually is rolling out now to customers. Can't wait to get mine. Because I drive a Model X, it comes a little bit later than the Model Ys and the Model 3s. They get them first. Giga Texas AI Center will be the biggest AI compute center on the planet. But it's a car company. I'll just leave that there. And then Giga Nevada are building and ramping their semi-truck production. And other good news, people were saying, there's no way Tesla can ramp semi-trucks because there's not enough batteries. Well, the good news is all the other car companies that made EVs are going out of business. And now there's a supply of batteries. So not a problem anymore. Moto89, thank you for coming. Let's look at a couple of charts. This is kind of a historic move that caught a lot of people by surprise. Tesla is up 92% in 53 trading days. Again, probably because of some of those tailwinds that are beginning to leak through to the so-called experts on Wall Street. It's like, maybe we need to re-underwrite this puppy. So, see where it goes. That's a monster move. Let's look at the LILO targets. Currently, we are at level 2 on the layer in, layer out model. This is designed to identify levels of support and resistance and potential targets. Typically, when you drop it and you drop it from the 200-day moving average and it crosses, it gets to level 7. And that target is 427. I do anticipate we could easily hit this within 12 months. Could even be a lot higher. I mean, if Wall Street figures out, okay, Tesla now make bots and they got cars that drive themselves and they got robotaxis and they've got an infinite demand for their mega packs that are high margin products and they're ramping that too, the earnings power of this company will be through the roof. And Wall Street will wake up and they'll be able to put that with the little pencils and the little boxes saying this should be priced at this. So I think that level 7 is an easy reach in a year for 27 and could be a lot higher. Of course, the bigger targets or when we start getting this crazy return on capital from all the new products that they have coming. Also, ATR, we are now at level 4. We went from level 2 to level 4 in a matter of days. I've never seen such a spike, and that was quite amazing. Up to level 6 next, which would be $420. Question is when. And it was, a lot of people complained, Tesla's so weak, it's so bad, I wanted to go higher, but we never lost any faith in the asset. In fact, we were so excited every time it went down because you got to buy more at a cheaper price. So I want people to, if they are in a position and they haven't lost their conviction and the price gets really cheap because the market overreacts to the downside, buy more. It's that simple. Financial advice right there. And don't fade Elon Musk. These are the space companies on the planet. And there is nothing even close to SpaceX. They're launching one rocket every 2 days into space. And they've also sent by far the biggest vehicle. It's over 400 feet tall. It's at 130 meters tall. It's 9 meters wide into space 4 times. It's like sending an office tower into the space. It's, again, don't fade Elon. So anyway, speaking of the competition, Rivian CFO Out per AJ. The resignation will be effective July 27th. Now, normally, sometimes when a CFO resigns, they could be pushed out. It could be a polite letter, but this is a very short window of time, very little time for a handover, which means there's probably a problem. Let's check on the Rivian chart and see what's going on there. Well, Rivian qualifies as a zombie on the ATR model. It's down at level 0.3, way off the highs, nothing but sell signals. And yeah, you don't want to be in this. It's kind of like the Lucid stock. I don't even know what that's trading for, but they're just, Rivian has a shot making it with the Amazon delivery vans. But unfortunately, this thing just killed it, the Cybertruck. And I know people say, oh, it's so ugly. But it is a spaceship with revolutionary technology. It's bulletproof, 48 volt, 4-wheel steering, 0 to 16, 2.6 seconds, yada, yada. All the stuff you need for the times that we live in today. And it's now outstripped the Ford F-150 and the Rivian R1T, the 2 biggest electric trucks in the world. And they are just ramping up. I think they're doing about 1,300, 1,500 a week now at this stage. But again, when you ramp something so complex that's never been done before, there are teething problems. They'll get through that, and they will be probably at 250,000 of these next year, and they'll be selling them all because it's also the most photographed, the most used by celebrities, whether you're a football player or a supermodel or whatever, you all want to get your hands on one. So no surprise there. Love it or hate it, embrace or die, whatever. Hope you like the show. Thank you all for coming, everybody. It is 9th of July. We're still in the middle of the summer. Expect some quiet times, but we'll get through this. Thank you all.